happening right now somewhere on this planet. It's the story of a UFO that has landed and visitors from a galaxy light years away.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
What up?
Each week on the podcast that wouldn't die, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics from the horror and sci-fi genres with a comedic twist. This week, we'll be discussing the classic science fiction film Laserblast, starring... There's some people in this.
Are there? There's some people. Yes, physically, there is in fact people in this movie.
There are bizarre cameos of people you recognize, but the main actors, I'm not that familiar with their work. I'll just say it like that.
Not familiar with their oeuvre?
With their oeuvre. Now, Aaron, people don't know this. We sat down last week and hammered out 3 straight movies in rapid succession. And one of them, my wife even sat in and watched. And
briefly.
She watched it and then she was just like, deuces. I could not possibly stand to sit through another one of these things. So
I'm not even sure which one she deuced out of. That must have been the movie we're discussing right now.
No, okay. We went to the theater with our sister Tara and saw Nope, which we'll be discussing soon enough. Then we got home and popped in the Tubi app, which is always a mark of quality. And we watched Laserblast with ads, the way God intended it. Becky,
they are getting better. They are getting a little bit better with their random ad breaks, although it's still just one ad.
Yes, over and over until you're hypnotized.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think I have erectile dysfunction, Kevin.
I think I do now.
Should I discuss it with my doctor?
I was fine until I watched this ad 15 times. Now who knows what's going on? No, Becky stayed and watched Laserblast with us. When it was time to watch Mausoleum, she said deuces.
See, that was her mistake. She should have quietly meditated until it was time for Mausoleum.
That's a sad situation. Aaron, give us your 30-second synopsis of Laserblast.
Turtle alien. It's like if you put a turtle head on a plucked chicken, aliens fighting, I don't even know, Jim Carrey in The Mask. And then they vaporize him. Meanwhile, 70s hippies out in Victorville stumble across the weapon. And apparently it's like the precious. The more you have it, the more you have to use it until you transform and become, in fact, the golem. Meanwhile, the turkey people, the turkey turtle people, can't figure they can master interstellar travel, but they can't quite figure out how to retrieve this weapon. Good wins out over evil? Is it evil? I don't know. Whatever. And the turkey butt people fly home. Literally, they even have the Pope's nose. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Now, had you ever even heard of this movie before?
Never. I thought it was some kind of Buck Rogers ripoff.
First of all, somebody on Twitter recommended this. As you guys know,
I think you should say their name. I think they should receive credit.
They should receive credit, but I didn't take notes. If you're listening, I appreciate all you do. Nameless stranger. Yeah, every Saturday I'll send out, my smoke signals and I'll say, hey, we're always looking for movie suggestions. In all honesty, I'm just making conversation. Let's be honest. I'm not really expecting a whole lot of interaction, but I'll take it. Came in with Laserblast, which you had never heard of it. It had a little soft spot in my heart because I vaguely remember when I was 5 on a Saturday afternoon, flipping channels.
You
And
sure it wasn't
seeing-
Elvira or something?
I think it was KTLA Saturday afternoon at the movies kind of situation where they just dump whatever was kind of no royalty crap. They just throw
Whatever
it on TV.
was free.
Whatever was free.
Whatever was free.
And so I vaguely remember aspects of this. And part of you wonders, is this just a fever dream? Did I just have a nightmare and imagine this was something on TV? Oh no.
There's a little bit of 70s porn.
Yes.
A little bit of confusion and a little bit of sci-fi.
Absolutely. It's a psycho circus. Shall we jump right in? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready, my friend.
Why don't you start first? What are your notable notes of
Well, first of
Laserblast?
all, the aliens pluck chickens with turtle heads.
Right.
And they speak like Beaker.
They quack. Literally on the subtitles it says quacking. Aliens quacking.
Oh my
So that's
God,
important to know.
So ridiculous. But it is stop motion animation, and I have a special feeling for films with stop motion. I do. It's a lot of work, friends. So it already makes me laugh. I would rather have funky stop motion animation than shitty CGI.
I agree.
Where it's shitty, but you knew they spent tens of millions of dollars. They could have cured famine in Africa, but they decided to just do some shitty CGI instead.
No, I agree. There's nothing worse than lousy CGI. I'll take some campy claymation any day.
At least it's amusing. You kind of laugh, but when you cringe at bad CGI, you feel amused by a shitty stop motion animation.
I just appreciate there are multiple scenes of the crazy turtle aliens talking to each other, talking to their fearless leader on the video screen. No subtitles. No. Long speeches being given. It's like, okay, context clues. Thanks for the help.
It's One Cut of the Dead all over again.
Which in my version had subtitles. I want that put into the record.
Damn you, Tubi!
Sweet Jesus. We have to talk about the main character, whose name escapes me. But
Kim!
Well, that was the actor's name.
Oh, yeah.
The actor's name, I'm looking it up. This is how we do on the show. The actor's name was Kim Milford, and he played Billy Duncan.
Billy Duncan.
Who?
Blonde, feathered hair.
Right.
Bell-bottom jeans, no shirt for 90%. No shirt for so long that he literally, from one scene to the next, goes from albino to I need to put some solar cane on my chest and shoulders.
Absolutely. I mean, literally seeing him gave me bizarro flashbacks, like 70s Palm Springs flashbacks of driving by the car wash. And that would be like the fashion choice of the dudes working the car wash. Shirtless, bell-bottom jeans, maybe a ponytail thrown in. Who's to say?
Are you sure you remember that? Because you were born in 75. So what part of the 70s are you remembering? Are you not remembering maybe the movie Car Wash? At the car wash,
No.
talking about the car wash. Yeah, I think you might have morphed dreams from fantasies and...
I have to tell you, I watched Car Wash not that long ago with Richard Pryor, and I was bowled over to discover that originally there were 4 Pointer Sisters. Did you know that? There were 4 Pointer Sisters.
I have to say, I've never sat down and said, I wonder how many Pointy Sisters there are.
Okay, not Pointy Sisters. Circa the 80s, when they were singing Jump for My Love, they were singing, I need a man with a slow hand. And he's so shy. These were all big hits of the Pointer Sisters. At that point, there were only 3 Pointer Sisters. So
did they kill one?
They ate one.
Or is it one of those things where they had to sacrifice one for their celebrity?
It's something like that.
Pointer Sisters were not my jam back in the day, but it's fine. It was direct to the supermarket music. So
this has nothing to do with
whatever.
Anything. But we'd go on family trips. This is long after you'd flown the coop. when
Run to the hills.
the younger sibs would go on family trips, and one of the CDs in the rotation were the Pointer Sisters' greatest hits.
Well,
So there
that's
you go.
probably better than when Mom and Dad were going through their Gregorian chant music, if you remember that.
I do not remember.
I keep waiting for the Sisters of Mercy song to go in, and it was never that. It was just Gregorian chants. And then, this has got to be the twins. Then all of a sudden, our parents were all about Bob Marley. So, like every party, Mom and Dad are busting out "No Woman, No Cry."
You can't
I'm
beat
like,
it.
what's happening? I'm like, we just got to. It used to be Big Chill on a loop, and then it became Legend in a loop.
I also, no one wants to listen to these little meanderings. Okay, back to the movie. I was about to extend
Trust me,
this.
this is much more interesting than the movie. I think, first of all, which I forgot to mention, the movie's about 35 minutes long, but they realized that they can't release this to theaters at 35, and they're not going to get a special Academy Award for what do they call it, short feature.
No, they're not.
So they decided to boost it to 85 minutes by just showing long, random scenes of nothingness.
Like he's driving somewhere and you see the entire drive. There's
the
multiple
entire
scenes of
drive, and from multiple angles, and then you see him drive all the way there, and then turn around, drive all the way back. I was like, ain't that the exact same shot? They're just driving in the other direction?
This is true.
Or there's a pool party, so they just set the camera up and people were like kicking their feet.
We watched the entire pool party where everybody is in some range of 9 years old or 39 years old. Who the hell knows? Because it's like even Billy Duncan, who I guess is supposed to be high school age, could be 40.
30.
Right. I mean, he's his bizarre relationship with his mom. Mom's like packing the back of her car. She's like, "Oh, I got invited again to Acapulco. I'm out of here." He's like, "Mommy," and she's like, "Bro, it's like, aren't you 30 years old?"
No, at that opening scene, I turned to you. I said, "I don't know if this is his mother or his lover,
right?
Because it might be a 10-year gap."
Oh, absolutely. But again, he calls her mommy. So is that just a term of endearment?
Mommy,
some kind of sugar mama kind of situation?
Be scared when you go Acapulco.
It was very sad.
Take baby.
That's basically what it was. Now he runs to the desert just because he was pouting or throwing a fit or something. He's angry, so he drives his big old Chevy van through the middle of the desert. And that's when he discovers the laser gun that had been left there since the last crazy monster, a dude, was killed by the aliens. We didn't even talk about that. Go ahead.
Let me just say that it is the exact same van as in Silence of the Lambs. So you know what he's really going out there to do. He's got to dump another body. Yeah. Oh, my God.
It puts the lotion in the basket. Yeah. This was the thing. In the 70s, you got to have a big old van. That's all part of the deal.
With a waterbed in the back?
At least, right?
Our uncle had one of those vans. And then the back was like all the way in the back. There were no seats until all the way in the back. And it was like a couch that would fold into a bed. And then I don't even think was there a kitchen in there?
No.
Like a little
wall-to-wall carpeting,
wall-to-wall shag.
It is the 70s, and literally, you might as well have a bumper sticker that says "Gas, grass, or ass. Nobody rides for free."
Because this van's a rockin', don't come a knockin'.
Absolutely, that's how they did it in the set. Like everybody's rolling around. If somebody pulls you up for your date in their van, you know what the expectation is. This is the 70s.
And he has no shirt on but puka shells. 100%.
He had no shirt on, but one point he puts on the shirt, but then never buttons it up. It is the 70s. I'm going to.
You got to see that smooth chest.
Absolutely. Everybody in this town seemed like a moron. Like developmentally disabled. I mean, something was going on because they all seemed very simple-minded. I
So
literally
you
wrote,
think it's like a Manzanar, but for special needs?
I wrote Village of the Imbeciles, and I underlined it because everybody,
I don't know.
Billy,
Isn't that Adelante Victorville? Isn't that already there?
that's how they do it.
That's how
Um,
it's the meth.
Well, and you've got the two deputies who are sitting by the side of the road smoking a J, and they chase Billy's van because I guess what he was speeding. He was going a little too fast, and they literally caused like a 5-car pileup. And it's played with like clown music in the background, like this is a hilarious moment. Boop, 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 boop. This is how
The cops were too high
they
to
were.
pull over Billy.
They were. That should tell you something. Good Lord. We talked ever so briefly about the pool party. This pool party was nuts because there were little kids there, and there were people who looked like there were 45 there. And at one point, a woman's just walking around topless. I'm like, what?
Just one.
Just one.
You know she's topless, but you actually don't see her boobuses, except maybe a side boob.
Yeah, you just see her from behind because she tries to throw a little something at Billy, evidently, and he's oblivious or uninterested. I don't know what the story is. He goes into the house and discovers his girlfriend about to be essentially raped by the town bully and the town geek who hang out together. For some reason.
Eugene from Greece is now like a voyeuristic rapist.
Yes. It was like, what this party took a dark turn is basically what's happening. I mean, they're like about to hold her down. But luckily Billy finds her just in time, I guess, and she doesn't seem that concerned about it.
She's like, 70s? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it's clearly her fault.
Yes.
You know what they say about like an unguarded swimming pool? It's an attractive nuisance. Her very presence is an attractive nuisance. How can men not rape her?
Exactly.
It's good that she apologized for being so attractive.
Well, he walks in and sees it start to go down, and the bullies get pissed off at him. So and again, they're fighting for about 10 minutes, where it's a lot of like wrestling on the ground. Eugene's jumping on top of the pile, and no.
Eugene runs from across the room and then just kind of leaps upon whoever's on top, rolls off, and then does it again and again. And the villain is in those 70s way too short shorts.
Yes.
And I will tell you a story that when I was in English class in high school, and this was probably 79 or 80, somebody was wearing those shorts, and they were a little loose, and they were wearing nothing into it, and I got a full education just simply by turning my head to get a pencil. I was like, oh my God, the Serpente is loose. Put that back in the cage.
Secure the hatch.
It was like an inch beyond the cuff. I was like, what the hell? Ah!
That's true. Well,
my eyes were raped.
Doctor, my eyes. No, you got to remember, well into the 80s, basketball players wore crazy short basketball shorts. I don't know they didn't have to blur out half the camera every night on the hardwood. It's like something's getting exposed.
Some kind of an adjustment because you're jumping up and down. Something's going to shake loose.
Absolutely. Good Lord.
You shake a tree and apple's going to fall down.
It's been said many times.
Oh, I hated those shorts. I had to wear those at Raymond Cree for PE.
Yeah.
There's just no hope with knee socks.
There was no hope at all. So we have to go back because at the beginning of the movie, it starts out with some weird freak with the green face, wearing a big old medallion around his chest with the Laserblast, the big old laser gun. And he gets killed by the turtle people who fly down in their flying saucer, but then leave the laser gun behind for the next moron to discover.
And then have to go back to retrieve it, which makes no sense. Why don't you just pick it up, turtle people?
Why didn't you grab it the first frickin' time? Now, there's no other preamble. We don't know how this first guy found it. Evidently, they just leave their stuff around. They leave their. We
don't even know who the first guy was.
No.
I thought he was some, terrorist from their planet or something. Who knows? but the quality of makeup is amazing because whenever you get possessed, it really just the makeup doesn't go beyond the jawline.
It does not.
It involves white contacts and some like 1964 Star Trek makeup. If it only was like you put a Jabberwocky mask on your head.
That is correct. A Jabberwocky. No, I mean, when they'd close up on it and you'd see his crazy old face, I thought it looked very effective. Now, when they'd pull back and you'd see his well-tanned neck and chest, totally normal human color, it's like, really? How about just throw a shirt on him then? If we're not going to put in that much effort, how about button up that shirt? No?
They stole an outfit from Logan Run, maybe the series, and they found some old facial apparatus, like I said, from old Star Trek or a Star Trek ripoff. And they're like, we're going to make a movie about this. This is literally like if our family was not very creative and talented and just decided to invite a couple of our friends over and just film a movie out in Palm Springs. This is what this movie would be.
Oh,
if we were less talented.
If we were less talented, exactly. No, there's no question. You know, we grew up in Palm Springs. You would see these vast deserty areas. It looked, I mean, I guess it wasn't filmed there, but it could have been. It very easily could have been.
There's totally certain areas, but there's certain areas I totally recognize as being like out in the Mojave Desert. But I went on the forums and some people thought it was more towards like Victorville. Like they wanted to drive out of LA, but not too far.
You don't mean Victorville. You mean like Palmdale or what am I thinking of?
I think somebody on the forum.
Lancaster.
Yeah, maybe.
Santa Clarita.
Lancaster's high desert. I mean, at one point, it was the salt flat out there in the Mojave.
Oh, no question. No question. Billy is wearing, because to use the laser gun, you have to wear the crazy medallion. And as he uses it, first he gets a little red mark on his chest, and then he gets like a big old crazy sore with some kind of metal disc in it.
The scab becomes metal.
That's
let's describe it. The giant necklace, which didn't fit over his head, because you see it on top of his head. Right. They have to cut away.
Smash cut,
and now,
yes.
And now it's on his neck. It's like purple testicles.
And
the rocket ship literally looks like one of those water cannons. But then you have to add one of those dryer tubing, so you can cram your whole arm up there. There's your costume.
That was it was very elaborate, very advanced. You better believe it.
The finest that extraterrestrial turkey chickens can come up with.
The dude's girlfriend, who looks like she is 14, I don't know what the situation is. She finally insists that he goes to the doctor to deal with that sore that's forming in the middle of his chest. And his doctor is none other than Roddy McDowall. Who,
oh my God. How much they pay Roddy for this 5 seconds of work?
I think he was like second build in the movie. He pops up. Your English doctor here in the middle of the high desert in Needles or something.
Now he's in Needles. This is all very interesting to anyone who lives in Southern California.
Exactly. Up there in Zizix, he appears on the scene.
I went to Zizix, by the way, just FYI. Zizix, you kids, is on the way to Las Vegas. It's an agricultural center. It's a university controls it. It's not much there anymore.
Oh, it's a sad situation. You're saying it's not like the Road Warrior out there at Zizix, or is it?
Dude, you take one turn out of any of that desert area, it's all Hills of Eyes, Road Warrior. You're on your own.
Oh no! The craziest thing.
There's no cell service.
No.
So I'm sure they don't use money out there. So you're gonna have to barter with what you got.
And sometimes all you got is your body that you have to barter.
You got a pretty mouth there, boy.
You take your life into your own hands when you drive through there. Very sad. But
we're gonna get sued by various unincorporated areas of California and Nevada.
the sad deserts. Yes. Um, Roddy McDowell scoops the metal thing out of his sore. Doesn't really bat an eye about it too much. He throws squirts a little Bactine in there, calls it a day, basically. But he's like,
I thought there was gonna be a whole like Dr. Pimple Popper where they're gonna get in there, put a little pressure, and there was gonna be a fountain or something.
just something, right? Not too bad, evidently.
Underwhelming, you might say.
And it didn't really make him wear shirts much. You think his big old, gross, jagged, oozing wound on your chest. Maybe, a couple more buttons on that shirt, no?
A big, old, stanky, metallic scab. Nah.
Not so much.
Nah.
So, really, after Billy starts wearing this thing, there isn't kind of a gradual buildup. You know what I mean? Because he is basically a cipher. Like, we don't know what his motivations are.
Like
we don't know
Louis Cypher?
Like Louis Cypher. We don't know anything about him. We don't know what he's interested in. And it's just suddenly...
he's interested in 1980s Playgirl magazine, because that's where it looks like he just rolled out of.
That is the look he was cultivating. No question. But when he puts it on, it's like it's a Jekyll and Hyde thing is basically what's occurring. It's like almost the next scene we see him and he's got a crazy green face and he blows up the crazy rapist's car with no one in it. Just destroys the car, standing up on a ledge.
He's not really killing people.
No. At first. He blows up the rapist's car, attempted rapist. But the next time we see him, Roddy McDowell is taking the sample 12 hours away or something ridiculous. There's no main hospital. There's no laboratories. There's nothing he could do.
They couldn't wait for the Wells Fargo stagecoach to come by and pass it off, or the Pony Express.
Couldn't do it. He's got to do it himself. And that's when we see Billy again, who blows up and kills Roddy McDowell 5 minutes after he appeared on the scene.
Because the scab is growing. It's extraterrestrial growing scab. Where is that scab now? Is it still growing?
There's no explanation. Somehow, again, he blows up the car with the sample, but somehow the sample appears anyway.
Meanwhile, you have a strange investigator, Talia Shire's husband from The Godfather.
Yep.
So somehow the mafia is involved. The mafia is clearly interested in the UFOs, the weaponry. We don't know why. As all things aliens, nothing's ever explained. The aliens never sit down and go, now let me tell you why we're here. No.
They don't. They never do that. Well, there's no explanation why the government knows anything about it. It's just suddenly Carlo Rizzi with his Bill Bixby hairstyle shows up on the scene, and he doesn't give any information. He's just like, here I am.
He looks fantastic. He looks like he stepped right out of a 1970s Sears catalog.
He did. But again, is there a scene where he's like meeting with the government officials like, no. We've discovered this, or, our radar picked up something? There's no explanation.
He shows up, he asks questions, he seems to have prior knowledge, which he doesn't share, and then he goes away.
So the people who could give us some information, the shadowy government type who comes alone, and the aliens who speak only in quacks and chirps without subtitles. So we don't know what the heck's going on.
It was as if Gumby and Pokey were invading our planet. That's the quality of UFO biz going on here.
That is correct. Now, after killing the kindly doctor, Billy, zombified Billy shows up and kills the police officers, the two deputies, one of which goes into the outhouse to take a dump, and he gets blasted, and evidently it's filled full of TNT and dynamite because it goes up with a mushroom cloud. Boom. Whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, his giant wrist rocket, whatever it is, whether it's a tumbleweed or an outhouse, it causes like a mushroom cloud.
Everything. At one point later in the movie, he goes on a rampage through just an alley an alley that seemingly there's nobody there. There's like storefronts. There's like a mailbox. Nobody's around. He's just shooting things. He shoots a mailbox, and it clearly is made out of wood. How
Oh
many
yeah.
wooden mailboxes? Again, blows up like he tossed a grenade under it.
And literally by the end of the movie, nothing makes any sense. Now we're clearly at one of those old Warner Brothers sets. I think the Gilmore Girls was a foot away.
Yep.
And he's just blowing up random shit. Just blow a mailbox, a newsstand. And there's no people around. This is supposed to be a city. It's like that Twilight Zone when the couple wakes up with a hangover
Yep.
and everything is empty. And then they realize they're in a dollhouse. But
spoiler alert.
It made no sense. And the other thing is, I guess we're led to believe it's like the Precious. It's the Precious.
Right.
So when he takes it off, he's all normal again. But then he's compelled to put it all back on.
Well, we never see him put it on, and we never see him take it off. We see him not wearing it, and he has those scenes talking to his girlfriend.
That's because he can't get it around his neck.
That's right.
They didn't take that into consideration when they made the weird choker.
Well, and there's never moments where he's just like, kind of like, oh, I can feel the call, the thing calling to me. I got to resist. There's none of those moments.
It's like he wakes up and then he's like, Barr!
Right. He's either the normal-ish dude or crazy monster with the laser blaster. Never the twain shall meet. It might as well be two different characters.
I think he was trying to kill his girlfriend at one point.
He was.
So you just get the crazies and you just want to blow shit up. So it's like the NRA.
It is exactly like the NRA. We have to talk about the kindly hippie that picks him up, even though he's totally all crazy and zombified with teeth and everything. They're rolling along. Again, I mean, I guess this movie was released in the later 70s, but it was clearly filmed in the earlier 70s. So he was wearing like a weird hat and smoking a J, listening to some psychedelic music.
Kind of a Jesus freak, and then you think he's peace of love, then he starts talking his jibba jab, that there's a screw loose. But then he takes the laser blaster and shoots him. He's driving the frickin' truck.
Never a good move.
With a rocket that causes a mushroom cloud. You're shooting the driver who's a foot away from you.
Yes.
Luckily for him, it just causes the door to fly off and the hippie goes bye-bye. And then magically, you see him now driving with no door.
Well, is it like a bench seat? Can he just slide right over and grab the wheel? I don't know. Who's to say?
Yeah, it's got to be a bench seat. They're not the bucket seats.
That's when you knew he was a bad guy, by the way. When he killed the kindly... he's like, when I look at him, I think he's like the dude who sang "Spirit in the Sky."
Oh yeah,
whose name I can't in the sky.
I hope he's so rich. I hope he's so rich with this one song.
Hey, do what you got to do. I think that's it.
And he was Jewish. He was Jewish.
Right. It's like Norman Murray Greenbaum or something like that.
Something like that.
If you know the answer of who sang "Spirit in the Sky," we'd love it. Keep it to yourself.
Tell Kevin on the Twitski.
Please do so. Any last thoughts and feelings before we move on with our lives?
Oh my God. Is this like a 20-minute podcast?
No, we're at 34.
What happened to behind the scenes?
I'm not saying we're done with the whole episode. I'm saying we're done with the notes.
Oh! I haven't even looked at my notes.
That's a sign of quality.
Oh, yeah. Well, at one point, the girlfriend puts the necklace on his chest, and that snaps him right into the crazies.
Right.
Just having the testicle necklace on his metal scab wakens the beast.
He had a sore, and she picks up his medallion and puts the medallion right into the sore. That's not a good move. That's not good.
Rub it in. Rub it in.
Rub it in. Rub it in.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all you got.
Like I said, we've actually now talked longer than the actual story of the movie.
That's
Everything
important.
we do now is just long shots of driving or people sitting in a pool floating around.
That's all you need, because
Or just shots of the desert in the background for hours.
There are multiple scenes where they're just like, we've got to kill time. We've got
to. It's the director's cut of Blade Runner with no voiceover and just long scenes of like future LA for
Absolutely.
hours.
That's all.
Except not that interesting.
4 hours.
4 hours of Victorville.
Shall we talk about behind the scenes?
Please.
According to producer Charles Band, who went on to do Full Moon Entertainment.
I love the full moon, subspecies, demonic toys.
All the
goes on and on and on.
Puppet Master.
I love the Puppet Master. Why have you not allowed me to do any Puppet Master movies?
We're not doing that. Well, we might. We might do the first one.
They're music. Yeah, that's all. That's as far as you need to go.
He said that the movie was filmed over 3 weekends for basically no money. Shocking?
Seems right. No.
Shocking? Not at all.
It's all filmed out in the desert, so no one would notice, so they didn't have to have permits, and in people's backyards. 100%.
There's a scene where they're driving by, and the possessed Billy reaches out with his laser blaster and blows up a billboard for Star Wars.
I did see that, and it wasn't like it was a billboard for Star Wars. It was like a shitty piece of balsam wood that someone had written Star Wars on.
That is correct. This is the film debut of Eddie Deason, who is more famously known as Eugene from Grease.
Yeah, Grease is the word.
Grease is the word that you heard. Let's see. The stop motion alien models were designed by David Allen and John Berg.
Took 2 people to make a chicken, huh?
Absolutely. People who talk about this movie talk about the stop motion as being the highlight of the movie.
I would agree.
The Spanish title of this film is El Rayo Destructor del Planeta Desconocido, which means the destructive beam of the unknown planet.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Of the turkey planet.
That's right. Keenan Wynn, who played the crazy...
We skipped right over that. That was just nonsense.
We didn't even talk about him. He played the girlfriend's senile grandfather who was wearing apparently like doctor scrubs, and then he just throw on a crazy old general's coat on top of it. Not sure.
And it was immaculate, so that didn't even make any sense. It was like clearly right out of the wardrobe department.
His scenes were shot in one day.
You know, all I kept thinking of is this is like Ed Wood with Bela Lugosi. They're like, I got Keenan Wynn. He's going to come in for 45 minutes.
Exactly. Sean Cassidy was originally expected to play the main character.
I would have loved to have seen that. I would have loved that.
Well, and clearly they tried to style this dude, Kim Milford's hair, to be like he was faux Sean Cassidy.
Yeah, that didn't work out. No.
Very sad. The Laserblast gun sold at auction in December 2003 for $3,750.
Overpriced.
Very good. I thought it said $3 million. I'm like, what? No.
You're like, what?
3,000. 3,000. Let's see. I think that's about all we need to know.
That was probably the reserve.
Yeah, good times. Oh, Star Kim Milford was a singer in the Jeff Beck group and also performed in the first concert tour of Jesus Christ Superstar. So
I love Jesus Christ Superstar. Can you tell me all the songs that were #1 in the Jeff Beck group?
Jesus Christ.
That is not Jeff Beck.
Do you know?
No, that's what I'm saying. Who the cares? I mean, I've heard of Jeff Beck, but
there you go.
I'm not humming a tune.
He died tragically at age 37 after
Jeff
heart
Beck?
failure. No, the Kim Milford, the lead of Laserblast.
Cocaine?
Heart failure from open heart surgery.
Oh.
Damn you.
Why does he have an open heart surgery at 37?
He had a rotten heart. I don't know. This is the only movie directed by Michael Ray. You know him, don't you? Very sad situation.
What did he go on to do after that?
Let's see. He acted in Laserblast. He was the police officer with the M16, uncredited.
Uncredited.
There you go. He
just disappeared.
Yeah. He produced Sinner's Blood in 1969.
Oh, yeah.
You know, don't you?
That's how he raised the money to shoot for 15 minutes for this.
That's all you need. Let's talk about the
We're
cast.
so sassy frassy.
Very sad. Kim Milford played Billy Duncan. He was in Laserblast. He was in an episode of Mannix. He was in something
God.
called Chow Manhattan. He was in something called Nightmare at Noon. There you go.
I've
Look
never
at these
heard
movies.
of any of this, my friend. Never
Cheryl
heard.
Smith played Kathy, the girlfriend. She also died at age 47 from complications from hepatitis. Good Lord. Sad
Maybe they
story.
were simultaneously shooting a porn. Like we wrapped because it only took 15 minutes, but we still got the cameras.
She was
Porn is art now.
pretty much. She was famous for being in a number of B pictures, including this 1977 Cinderella. I'm not even going to ask what that is.
No.
Lamora, A Child's Tale of the Supernatural. Up in Smoke, she was in that Cheech and Chong movie.
Hey, who is she in Cheech and Chong?
Laughing Lady.
Laughing Lady Girl, number 3.
That's it. She was in The Incredible Melting Man. There you go.
Oh, I saw that.
Let's see. Tony Craig, the government official, was played by Gianni Russo. We talked about
He's the biggest star. He's the biggest star.
Well, he was the most recent actor who was had been in something. Let's just say it that way. He was Carlo in The Godfather. That was Talia Shire's husband who gets beaten up by James Caan. R.I.P. By the way.
R.I.P. Sonny Corleone. Don't now if you're involved by marriage to the mafia.
Yep.
Wouldn't it just occur to you to think you got to be on your tippy toes?
Absolutely.
That would be the last person you want to put hands on.
Don't do
when
it.
It's all brothers and they're all connected.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Johnny Russo was in the Super Mario Brothers movie. There you go. He was in Rush Hour 2. He was also in Godfather 2 in kind of a flashback sequence. Because I think
biggest star.
Let's see. The sheriff was Ron Masick. You know him from Murder, She Wrote, Ice Station Zebra, Tora, Harper Valley PTA. There you go.
I saw Harper Valley PTA.
Dennis Berkeley played Deputy Chief Unger. He's been in a ton of stuff, this guy. He was in Hollywood Homicide, Stop My Mom Will Shoot. He was in Tin Cup. He was in the Doors movie. We talked about how he was on.
He was always like bully number 3 or something. It's not like he was, supporting cast.
No, he was never the star, but he always had lines. He wasn't like an extra.
Right.
We talked about how on Sanford and Son, when the actor who played Lamont was just like, I'm done with doing Sanford and Son, they brought him in to become Sanford's like new roommate for like a season or 2 before it got canceled. So go back and watch it.
So they move in some dude who looks like Duck Dynasty into Fred Sanford.
Fred Sanford, yes.
And then it didn't go well? That's a surprise.
Did not go well. Eddie Deason played Froggy, the bully's sidekick.
Eddie Deason.
You know him from War Games, Grease, The Polar Express, and Grease 2.
I guess he's the one with the most recent credits.
Absolutely. You love him because he was also in 1941 as the weird guy on the Ferris wheel with the ventriloquist dummy.
Oh my God, I just watched Polar Express this weekend, so you are 100% his voice is exactly the same.
He's still around. He's still doing his thing.
He is.
Keenan Wynn.
Voice.
Keenan Wynn played Colonel Farley.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he died in 1986 at age 70. He was in Dr. Strangelove as Colonel Bat Guano. He was in Annie Get Your Gun. He was in Song of the Thin Man. He was in Point Blank with Lee Marvin. Roddy McDowell was Dr. Mellon. You know him, or you should know him, from Fright Night, Cleopatra, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. He was in Overboard with Kurt Russell and
yes, he played their servant, their butler or something.
That's right, Andrew, their butler. I think that's all we need to know. Should we talk about the rating?
Well, let's go, Brother Bear.
Prepare yourself. On Rotten Tomatoes, Laserblast does not have a rating. It only has 4 reviews. So let's take a look.
Yeah, I think we need to open that door.
just out of curiosity's sake.
How does it have no ratings?
It has no rating. Not enough people have reviewed it. Let's see. Felix Vasquez Jr. of Cinema Crazed, you know it, don't you? Says the worst of the worst before Charles Band began getting creative and fun. So there you go. Film critic Scott Weinberg gave it 2 out of 5. Michael Zamansky of Zaptuit.com gave it 0 out of 5. And Robert Roten of the Laramie Movie Scope gave it 2 out of 5. Now, you may think, what? Those all sound like lousy reviews. The audience surely loved it. You'd be mistaken. 14% from the audience.
Yeah.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, my review is more like a 0.25 out of 5 laser blast to my own eyes if I ever have to watch this again. It's not even bad enough to be funny. It's just, you're just like, what the hell?
I don't think it's as bad as all that. I will give it.
I swear, if you give it a 3, I'll give you a punch in the neck.
No, I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5. Topless, underage bikini birthday swim parties.
She was as old as Stockard Channing in Grease. Get out of here.
She was as old as Stockard Channing now. No, it's it's a sad situation. I thought it was actually, there were moments I found very funny. Overall, it's too long at 82 minutes, which is a sad situation. And there are definitely parts where you're just like, let's speed this up a little bit. And of course, the plot is nonsensical.
There was at no point did I make a guffaw. Did I go, ha? No.
You weren't rolling on the floor laughing?
I was sitting right next to you. Did you even hear a ha out of me?
I don't know if that was a hiccup or what was happening, but I thought it had amusing moments. It's not like, I've watched movies that are worse than this, at least in terms of an entertainment value, but make no mistake, this is not a good one. So I don't want to defend it, but I don't think it's a 0.5 on the Richter scale.
I mean, if this is what it took to bring us the rest of the Full Moon Entertainment stable, then that's fine.
Then it's worth it, is what you're saying.
But if this isn't the thing that bankrolled everything else, then they need to. I'm not one for burning books and stuff, but we might want to start with this movie. This might hold a magnet over the last VHS copy of this, whatever it takes.
Very sad situation. So, thank you very much. Go to our page on Twitter at TPodcastTWDie. Go to our page on Facebook at The Podcast That Wouldn't Die. Aaron, are we on the Insta? What's going on?
We are on the Insta. We are, in fact, The Podcast That Wouldn't Die. On Instagram, we finally reached 1,000 people.
Woohoo!
9,000 more to go to monetize this bitch.
A drop in the well, right? There you go. Good times. You can also email us at thepodcastthatwouldn'tdie at Gmail. Make sure you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. Make sure you like, share, review, and rate, if you will. Aaron, are you on social media? I hadn't heard.
I am so social and so media. Although I had to listen to a bunch of my friends who are all jibber jabbing. We're on Facebook. Oh, I'm free now. I was like, so boring. just be off of Facebook. Do we have to talk like? I mean, maybe everyone's a crackhead for Facebook. I kind of missed that, but anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram. I am in fact the Cult of Aaron. You can see something you like, I'll sell it to you. I am also on the Insta at Don't Feed the Pigeon. I am on Artsy, Aaron Doherty, Instant Dreams Gallery. I am on First Dibs, Aaron Doherty. Beautiful. Buy stuff.
If you're lucky, there may be pictures of me available. So that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year long.
It's true. Wouldn't you like a picture of my boyfriend?
What? We are brother and sister. I want to reiterate that fact. That sounds weird.
Wouldn't you like a picture of my brother? And then you could pretend he is your boyfriend as a cowboy.
Absolutely. Good times.
Good
So,
times.
next week, we'll be discussing the new classic, Jordan Peele's latest opus, Nope, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Michael Wincott. It's an all-star. Keith David, all-star cast. Sadly, you will have to get off your grizzly behind and go to the theater because it's not available anywhere else.
I
And-
would recommend you see it at the theater. And don't forget, Glenn from The Walking Dead resurrected
Stephen
after the
Yeun, I forgot him as
terrible
well.
head cracking from Negan.
Spoiler
The thing
alert.
that made me stop watching The Walking Dead.
And as a special guest, our old friend and sibling Tara will be on that episode as well. So you have that to look forward to. So send in your favorite scenes, questions, comments, and we may talk about it on the show. So,
Teaser.
teaser.
Monkey eating lips. That's all I have to say.
Spoiler. So thank you very much and be well.